Well, later this month, the Tony Award-winning musical Come From Away is welcoming Chattanooga to the Rock. We've got Addison Garner, who plays Beverly Bass, with us today to tell us all about the show. Addison, thanks for being with us today.
Good morning. Yes, we are so excited to be heading your way in just 2 weeks.
It's going to be great. Okay, for people that might not know, give us just a little background on this show.
Yeah, absolutely. It was a Tony-nominated musical back in 2017, and it's all about the story of 9/11, which I think immediately people think, oh, it must be so sad, but it couldn't be more opposite. It is filled with hope and the restoration of humanity. Long story short, there were 38 planes that had to land somewhere on that day of 9/11. They could not cross U.S. soil, and they landed in Gander, Newfoundland, which is a tiny town in Canada. And 7,000 people were taken in overnight by this amazing community, and they were provided shelter and food and clothing and everything else that they needed. And that is a story that we get to tell night after night.
Absolutely, and it gives you chills. I've seen it on Broadway, and I'm so excited to see the tour now. Now, tell us a little bit about your character, because another part of the show that gives me chills is your character for sure.
Yes, I have the wonderful privilege of stepping into the shoes of Beverly Bass. She was the first American Airlines female pilot back in 1986, and I get to tell her story. Of those 38 planes, she was the only female or the only captain that came back in that 10-year anniversary, and they were able to make a story out of her. And I get to sing the song "Me in the Sky," which Jen Kalala put on the map for us, and really just tell the story of her life and how hard she had to work to get to where she is today.
Absolutely. And speaking of that song, what is it like getting to sing that phrase, "Finally I got my wings," every night that you get to sing this song? Because I'm getting chills just thinking about it.
Yeah, it is that. I've toured before, but this tour is so unique and special because I am portraying a real person. And so taking on those emotions night after night, it honestly never gets old. And the audiences are just right there with us, and seeing their responses and their reactions is what keeps it fresh. And it's definitely something that I never take for granted.
Absolutely. And another unique thing about this show is a lot of the actors play several different characters, and the accents kind of change, and so we know who they're. What's it like for your co-actors and people on stage? What's it like seeing them kind of switch between those roles throughout the show?
So there are 12 actors on stage, and that's it. 6 women, 6 men. And just like you said, we do take on different accents, different people continuously throughout the show. But as I was saying, I think that's what actually keeps it fresh night after night, because there's always something new to learn, or something might hit differently every night, because sometimes we're Canadian, sometimes we're American, sometimes we're completely, something else. So that's what is actually what keeps it new and exciting every time we do it.
Absolutely. And then, kind of a softball here, but do you have a favorite part of the show?
We are coming back to the States from after those 5 days in Canada, and it's that moment of hope and restoration, and we just can't wait to be home. And it's a chill-breaking moment every single night.
Absolutely. That is probably my second favorite as well. So I'm right there with you, Addison. Well, thank you so much for being with us today. If we want to follow along with everything you've got going on, Addison, how can we do that?
Yeah, you can follow along with me at Addison Garner on Instagram. That's a nice way to keep in touch. Also, Come From Away has a wonderful social media page as well that keeps you updated with where we'll be, what we're doing, what we're up to, and everything like that.
Absolutely. Addison, thanks for being with us today.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for having me. We can't wait to see you in a couple weeks.
Yes, and you can get your tickets to see Come From Away at the Soldiers and Sailors Memorial Auditorium. Just go to TivoliChattanooga.com.